Are you a box, triangle, rectangle, circle, or even a squiggly? Find out what you are according to this morning's guest. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio. We're on part 2 of Dr. Muriel O'Tuel, and we're visiting with the author. Muriel, thanks so much for getting back with us this morning.
Great to be here.
Yesterday was a treat.
Well, it was a treat for me as well. I think I talked too much.
No, not at all. You know, the difficulty is that for someone like yourself, for many motivational speakers or authors, you know, you could spend an hour on one chapter. You could spend a couple of hours on one chapter, whether it's awareness or the subconscious mind or getting into, I know we want to talk about personality shapes. There's so much you could do in an hour that you may do in a motivational talk, but we can't do that in an interview. We got to sum up a lot in 25 minutes. Fortunately with you, it's 50 minutes yesterday and today. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to get you in.
Good to be here.
For viewers who may not have caught you yesterday, you're originally from the area.
Yes.
You are?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm from Columbus County, so I'm definitely a Carolina girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to have to rest on the fact that hopefully some folks who are, that are with us today were with us yesterday and are back for part 2. You know, Footprints on the Heart, how long did it take you to get that out, Muriel?
Actually, it took me about 3 years, and I didn't intend to do a book. I was shifting my gears or redirecting after I left the Ouray County schools, and I went to a workshop on how to redirect, a very small one, and they suggested that having a book would be good. It would be a good positioning tool. Mm-hmm. And I thought, a book, what would I write about? And then I just knew I had so much material because I'd done staff development for more than 10 years. And through the years, people would say to me, well, Muriel, will you kick us off? Would you say a few words? Would you get us going? So I did have lots of material, and one of the things that really made a great impression on me, I would hand out something at a staff development meeting for different groups in the school district, and I would visit the school or visit the lounge, and they'd have my handout there 2 years. I mean, they wouldn't take it down.
Wow.
And I thought, that's power.
Yeah.
So I like doing the handouts, and so I had lots of material and a message too about what life is all about, and that is making a difference in the lives of other people. And I'd done that for 30 years, and I was doing it in a different way by putting some stuff in a book that would inspire people and encourage people to have a better life, or to look at their strengths and build from within. Because I really believe that we have on the inside everything we need to be successful on the outside. It's a matter of that mindset, that subconscious thinking, that we can. And I'm the story of that.
Absolutely, taking it from the inside and displaying it on the out.
Yeah. One of my topics is success is an inside job. And so we have to look at what we do best instead of trying to overcome all the weaknesses we might have. Build on strengths and go from there, and look for opportunities. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity. So
where could a viewer get a copy of Footprints on the Heart?
Actually, through my phone number that you have.
And what number
here.
Is that again?
It's 843-249-6903.
249-6903.
6903 is right.
249-6903. And you have a website as well.
Yes. And that website
That's
is
MurielO'Tuel.com. That's great. Absolutely. You know, for folks who don't visit their own websites, you hand out literature, which is great.
Yeah.
You hand out stuff that has great stuff about your book, so obviously there's no need to go there all the time. You know it's there, and it's great to be able to pump. It's pretty easy to remember since it's your name there. But it doesn't have doctor, and I'm sure you're used to going by doctor.
Well, that's my professional name.
Right. And you talked about yesterday your husband had also gotten his doctorate as well.
We were 2 PhDs, and of course we both had strong personalities. We never worked in the same school or school system.
Right.
But his leadership style was so different. When we get into the personality shapes, I'll tell you his shape. It was certainly different from mine, but you don't have to be a CEO to be a leader. And the greatest form of leadership is influence, and that was the form that I chose, is to be the example, the person who influenced others for doing things that made a difference. I was not the hatchet person. So, yeah, we were different, but we made a great team.
In a normal hierarchy within a school system, let's say, I think when you came to Horry a while back, you came in as the assistant to the superintendent for Horry County Schools. Is there a hatchet person there in the administration?
Well, there are those who do that better than others, and I was not groomed for that. Neither was I hired to do that. I was hired to. I had been working at the local, state, and national level on building business partnerships, school business partnerships. So that was one of the reasons I was hired, is to build better relationships with the businesses and the schools, and of course we had bond referendums that needed to be passed, and to go out in the community and put a best foot forward and communicate the positive aspect of the relationships there. So that was my strength. It wasn't my strength to go around and collect data and fire people. That just wasn't what I did.
You shared some great strengths yesterday, the opportunity of really listening to not only teachers, not only students, but making sure to take the time to listen to other folks in the cafeteria, maintenance folks, the opportunity. And you talked about, obviously, Maisie down in Somerville, who gave you the opportunity to come up with a great title for your book.
Right. Oh, yes. And there are people there that when they ask for help, a lot of times they just want you to listen to them. And that is one communication skill that you can't have too much, is being able to listen to the person who needs to tell their story to you.
Oh, yeah. There was a great guest with us a couple of months ago, one you know well, Brad Dean, who stresses that we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we talk.
Right.
It's a great idea. I think I've said that many times. And
well, you know, thinking about those personality shapes that, if you want to, we'll talk about that now.
Let's get into those, absolutely.
Well, actually, I'm always looking for something that you don't have to have a special manual or materials that I can. In fact, I've done this with Rotary, and you know we have, 15, 20 minutes to do a Rotary program. So I've even used this with them. But Susan Dellinger developed some research around how to communicate beyond our differences and how to work as a team, even though we're different from, or maybe not want to be around a person. They're difficult to get along with. So actually what she developed was 5 basic shapes that describe our personality. And she divided them into linear and nonlinear. And so what I do is I tell people, I said, you can just listen to the shapes, and then you can put in your finger in just a few seconds, decide which one would describe you. So the shapes are a box, a triangle, I say a box, a triangle, a rectangle, a circle, and a squiggle line. And what I do is I say, pick a shape if you had to describe yourself. And then I say, let me give you a few characteristics. Remember that we have some of the characteristics, some of all the characteristics in us, but we tend to be more dominant in one than another. And the first 3 shapes are linear, meaning they have lines and angles. And then I give a little bit about each shape, which I'll do now, just a brief introduction. The person who is described in the box personality is a person who's very detailed, analytical, very organized, very knowledgeable. They're the kind, they're always referring to the manual. They love the bylaws, put them on the bylaw committee. They love working with detail. And they'd much rather, if you have a task for them, they say, tell me what you want, leave me alone and let me do it. They don't like to be surrounded by people. They don't like to work in a group setting. But and they're on task. They come to work in just a matter of minutes. They're at that computer, they're doing their stuff, and they don't want to be bothered. They tend to have some difficulty being really outgoing and social, and they criticize people who are on the phone, on company time, you know, or doing emails. They have a problem with that. But their strength is that they really are task-oriented and they get the job done.
Yeah.
So that's the box. The box, the triangle, and the rectangle are all linear shapes that see the world as structured and ordered and black and white. So the next shape is the triangle shape. And the word to describe the triangle is leadership. There are those individuals who are so motivated to achieve. They want to go to the top. They're either the CEOs or wannabe CEOs. They like to take charge. They're movers and shakers. They're very needed because they do make things happen.
Right.
They don't want to be bogged down in the paperwork. That's why they have a box working for them. They'll say, just give me an executive summary. I don't want to read 55 pages. And they work well with the box. So the triangle shape is that person who pushes things forward. They're great communicators. They look the part. If you visit their office, they've got all of their credentials and usually photos of important people. They work hard. They play hard. They know how to network. They just have it all together. They really know how to push an agenda and get things happen. And they make decisions quickly because they know if it doesn't work, they're going to try something else. Whereas the box, they have difficulty making a decision because they feel there's just one more piece of data they need. So they can't, they gather the data, they analyze it, but it's the triangle who makes that decision and moves it forward.
That little phrase, excuse me, Muriel, not to cut you off, that little phrase of don't worry about making a right decision, just make a decision and then make it right.
Absolutely right.
Not to break in, excuse me.
Start it and then get it right.
That's right, absolutely.
And that's real important because they really do make things happen.
You could spend forever getting everything together like the square, but now you're moving to the rectangle.
And then we're to the rectangle. The rectangle symbolizes those people who are in transition.
Right.
Some say that they're a box who want to be a triangle, but the rectangle position is transitional. They've either been relocated, they may have had a death in the family, something's happened that's caused them to have a big change in their lives. So they're becoming. They're usually going back and getting retrained, or one day things are this way. They're very much not the same every day. So that rectangle is a person in transition. They're moody usually and unpredictable. The good thing about the rectangle, they're growing. They're taking, they're learning new information, and sometimes they can make friends with the box because, see, the box has all that knowledge.
Right.
And if you know how to approach the box for help, then maybe that can work out. Then we go to the nonlinear shapes, who are certainly much more right-brained. The circle symbolizes harmony. Circle personalities are those nurturers, those helpers. They cannot tolerate discord, any kind of conflict. They make the world go round because they want everybody to be happy, and they will help you be happy. They'll listen to you. They will bring you a coffee or something, some refreshment. They always have something. They're the ones that you put in charge of refreshments for meetings because they make sure that you are comfortable. They see their mission in life as being there for other people. In fact, their favorite song is "People who need people are the happiest people in the world." And so they find much joy in helping people have a good life. They're always up, and when it's raining, they say, "Oh, we needed that rain." Whatever's going on, they see joy in that. And it's difficult for circle personalities to work as the boss, as the one in charge of others, because if somebody's down, they're trying to, they spend so much energy trying to make everybody feel better that sometimes they lose sight of the agenda. So it takes a lot of work for them to be in charge of something. And then, of course, the squiggle line, that open-ended line, represents the person who is very creative. They have more creative thoughts in a day than many people have in a lifetime. Their favorite phrase is, "What if? What if we tried this?" Since they're so unstructured, it's difficult for them to work in a frame, time bureaucracy, if you wish, if you will. They are just off the wall in terms of things, but they have a lot of passion. They have a lot of excitement. In fact, they dress, oh man, now circles like to wear cotton or good feeling materials, but that squiggle line can put outfits together that you've never seen before. Whereas the box will dress in gray skirts, slacks, blazer. They're sort of a blur. And of course the triangle is very much the CEO type of dresser. They look the part. So you get all of these different personalities, but the good thing about it is they each have something to bring to the table to contribute, because you need somebody who's organized, you need somebody who can make things happen, you need somebody to make sure everybody's comfortable, and you certainly need new ideas. And the squiggle personality is very valued in the workplace today, because we're in such a transitional, chaotic world of change that their ideas are valuable.
The phrase "thinking outside of the box"
that is a squiggle thought.
Oh yeah.
And the squiggle personalities through the years have been referred to as "he's home but the light's not on," or "her elevator doesn't go to the top floor."
Yeah.
You know, you've heard that. Those are squiggles.
Right.
You know, they really, for example, if you're taking all the shapes to lunch, I give this as a quiz when I talked about the shapes. You have all 5 shapes for lunch. The one who would say, "Excuse me," he ordered a different type of dressing. They pay so much attention to detail. They hear everything. They see everything. Whereas the triangle would say, "Okay, we have to be back at the office at 1:30, and, you know, make sure that happens." And then, of course, the rectangle personality would call in and say, "You know, I wanted to come, but I've changed my mind. I'm not coming today. Couldn't make it." The circle, of course, would be there showing pictures, making sure everybody had a chance to talk, to be participatory in the conversation. And then the squiggle line would probably go to the restroom, meet somebody, and they'd tell them about an art show or something, and they wouldn't even come back to the table.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, they're that different. So when you look at that, I have some companies who hire and fire just based on those personality shapes.
Now, how do folks through the seminar? And of course, we're running quick on time. We got about 7 minutes. No, I just want to make sure when you get into this in a motivational setting, for instance, you talk about yourself and which of those you'd fit in, or do you talk about how it has an impact on each of the folks in the room?
What is amazing while we're doing these activities, and of course I can draw this out to 2 days if we have to.
Oh yeah.
But I get them to think about not only their particular frame of reference, but who they work with and who they live with.
Oh yeah.
Because it helps you understand, for example, if you're trying to relate to that box, you're not going in to give a flippant conversation. You're going to have a specific thing to ask him or her. You know, you just have to learn how they best communicate and how to understand where they're coming from, so you can make the team really be productive. That's the whole idea. And it's a great way for companies to begin the year or end the year, sort of seeing. And it's amazing how you see on their faces, they say, "Oh, that's why I had difficulty working with that person." Or, you know, they're coming, they'll say, "I was doing triangular behavior," or "You're too boxy for me," or "That's the squiggle line. That's the reason she never shows up on time."
Wow,
that kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
And so many other topics and presentation topic list. I mean, you've got an incredible litany of things that folks could have you talk about, and how it could have an impact on their business or in their charity or their not-for-profit is across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a multitude of places. If a viewer picked up Footprints on the Heart, opened it to, let's say, the 3rd chapter, builds on a basic truth of the author's life, there's no such thing as a self-made individual. Or if they picked it up and we're heading to the subconscious mind, or there's some chapters that you really want them to go to, or you want them to hit the whole thing?
Well, a lot of my presentations come from that material, but the basic idea is there's a way to make good things happen, that life is full of dream makers who help us grow, and we have to build on that, the network of communicating and learning from others, and realizing that we have what we need. We just have to look at those strengths and work together to make it happen. You know, that's it. that life is full of lessons and blessings, and we learn the lessons. When something happens, we got to look and see what happened, what can we do about it, where can we go from here, and count our blessings by celebrating the blessings.
And that's exactly, if you were told you had 30 seconds to sum up Footprints on the Heart, it would be just that?
It would be that that we're all standing on somebody's shoulders. That if we're willing to reach out, there's somebody who will help us. But we've got to look within and know that we have the ability to grow, become, achieve, and be, and live a fulfilling life. 85% of fulfillment in life, joy and fulfillment, comes from positive relationships with others. So we need to spend a lot of our time building on those positive relationships. So everything boils down. I think it doesn't matter what you do. Success depends on the relationships that you have with other people. So yes, footprints and relationships are synonymous.
Muriel, you're not writing to women only. You're not writing to men even. You're not writing to seniors or children. You're writing to a real broad spectrum there. Some of your tenants there this summer could accidentally pick up a copy or could intentionally pick up a copy of Footprints.
Right.
That's not a prerequisite to renting from you, I guess.
Right. Oh, no, no. They don't, a lot of them don't know what I do, but I will tell you, I was in a school once, and this fourth grader had my book in his backpack, and I was really surprised.
Oh, yeah.
But he said, your book is really good. So, you know, it's amazing how it's a book for all people. And that amazed me. I really am thrilled with that.
Absolutely, you must be. It's pretty exciting putting together a book and now working on book number 2.
Yes.
This is the sequel to Footprints on the Heart?
Actually, Footprints on the Heart, every chapter is independent. I'm going to take
Hold
the
it
same
up and share it for the viewers so they can see it right there. Well, that's great. That's great. Dr. Muriel O'Tuel, and the footprints are up there on the top right corner of the heart.
And those footprints belong to Meredith, whose dad worked with me in the school district when I was working on this book. But getting back to the one, Footprints Are Forever, in this book I want to focus on generational differences. And I will focus mainly on my parents' generation, my son's generation. But, you know, there are 4 generations in the workplace right now for the first time in the history of our world. And also I want to deal with brain research and aging. And I want to do vignettes of people who really know how to live. I'm collecting stories from people who keep the torch going no matter how old they are.
Speaking of one of those persons who really knows how to live, I loved one of these quotes from Mickey Spillane that you have about your book, an exciting piece of storytelling with a motivational theme. Maybe you'll see yourself in this portrait, or maybe you'll remember that very special person who guided you through those trepidatious years of growing up, or perhaps you can be prodded into being one of the good guys others can look up to. This world sure needs that. This old world sure needs that. Mickey Spillane talking about your book. A lot of other folks, the Sun News, the Orient Independent, the Marlboro Herald Advocate, the Tabor City Tribune, and even the state newspaper in Columbia. A lot of folks highlighting how important your book has been.
Well, it's been a journey, and I've been most pleased. And when I'm feeling a little down, I can just pull a letter or read something that I've received from someone who said, you know, you gave me the courage, you encouraged me, or you helped me take the risk of doing something different or moving forward. And that's what I learned from your book. So that's the ultimate.
Do you still do book signings, Muriel? Do you have them regularly, or are there places? Is there a calendar online or otherwise so the viewers could find out where you'd be so they could see you, or call in your number? Is that a good one?
Right now, call the number. Right now, I don't have any schedule. I'm trying to work toward my new book, which will be a new blitz when that comes out.
For sure.
Hopefully.
Great. The 843-249-6903, or of course MurielO'Tuel.com. And for folks who go online, of course there's no apostrophe online. It's just those letters next to each other.com. So there's a real opportunity. You know, if you hadn't done a book, Muriel, what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't out to motivational speaking?
I wouldn't be in Columbus County, I don't think. I'd probably be teaching in a university setting, perhaps. But I like what I do. There's so much diversity in what I do, and I enjoy working with various age groups, and I like my life. It's been full of tragedy. It's been full of blessings, and I just want to live life to the fullest and meet people like you who know how to live. So I just find out there's a lot out there. You just can't stay home and rock. You got to get out and do your own rolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Muriel.
Great.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Muriel O'Tuel coming up next. We didn't get into the Dulcimer workshop. We didn't get into going back to where I came from. We didn't get into Birdie flying away, or her son talking at her husband's funeral. We didn't get into some of the experiences that you get in special presentations, because she spent a lot of time on the personality shapes. We did get to spend some time there. It was exciting to think about some of the opportunities, whether you find them in Footprints on the Heart, you find them at MurielO'Tuel.com, or you find them when you talk to her at 843-249-6903. You'll find them. It's not all hearts. It's one heart at a time. Take the time to give her a call. It's exciting. You may see her out at the book signing. You may see her out at the store. You may see her out at those 60 Campus Crusade for Christ students who are here making a difference in the lives of many, or in those lifeguards who are making a difference in the lives of many, many, many. Take the time.